In this video I'm going to show you how I use a Shelly RGBW PM to control 4 channels of lights and add dimming capability, local control, as well as cloud control of the lights. Stick around. I want to have as many of my smart things as possible controlled from one pane of glass or through one app. So I'm going to bring them into the Shelly app along with the inverter control, and I have some other things that I'm going to control with Shelly down the line as well. So to do that, I'm going to use one of these, which is a Shelly RGBW PM. Basically it's a 4-channel relay which can be used for RGB, RGBW, or as 4 single channels of lights. Okay, so here I've got mocked up how the outdoor light gets connected. So this is my orange rope light. So I spent a bit of time last night mocking up how this works and playing around with a couple of different switches. I was hoping to be able to use this touch switch here, which has touch on and off and dimming. And I could get it to work for on and off, but not for dimming. I think because this switch requires a power feed, just the way that it works, doesn't really work with Shelly, where I need to switch it in the negative terminal. So I've given up on that, and I'm going to use a latching switch like this. You've got on and off. So let me show you how that all connects up. Okay, so in the case of this switch, so I've got a positive feed, which is the positive feed for the Shelly, and it also the positive feed of your light circuits tees into that same feed. So it's all a shared 12-volt feed. The return from the LED comes in to whichever channel you're using. In this case, I've got it in channel 1. These terminals are the switch terminals. Other side of that switch goes to ground, goes to the negative feed. So that's the way that works. I've also got the black from the switch connected into the ground, and if I were to add power to the red, then I would have the light on the switch on. Now that light stays on all the time. Again, because we're feeding through the negative side of the circuit, not through the positive side, I can't get this light to only be on when the light is on. I can get it to only be on when the light is off, but not on when the light is on. So I'm undecided whether I'll connect that and the black wire or not. I've found that these kind of LED strip lights can be a little bit difficult to get to stick nicely. So I've cut a piece off, as you can see, and glued it to a bit of powder coated aluminium. That's basically how it's going to be on the van, so I figured it was a good test. I've glued it with some Sikaflex 252 and it's stuck really well. Now I can, if I give it a good tug, I can rip it off, but if it's glued right down the length, glued well, I think it will hold. So I've been trying to figure out how I could mount the light strip onto the awning and where it would work. I could jam it into one of those, and that would be a good mechanical fixing, which I would then supplement with glue. But the other problem is I was just having trouble working out how I would get cable from there into the van in a tidy and waterproof way. And then I realized I was kind of fixated on putting the light on the awning, and that wasn't necessarily what had to happen. And I started looking at this as a possibility. I could mount the light just below this drip rail here above the door, which would be easy and tidy, and it would be protected from the worst of the runoff and stuff. And then I could just pierce a hole here and pass the cable inside the van. It would be tidy, would be neat, should be relatively easy. So I think I'm going to do that. If you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more DIY van life and smart home content. Okay, so that's the wiring in behind with it switching the positive feeds, and now I need to rewire it so that it switches the negatives. So I know which is which of these is on the incoming side. So I just need to make sure that I'm putting the negative sides in a logical array. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. Really hope I'm going to be able to pull the cables back through that I need. There we go, got it. It's easy. Have everything configured correctly. You should have lights on, lights off. Okay, that's the terminations done on there. Now I've just got to hook this lot up to the energy. So theoretically now, the energy relay is controlling the kitchen. Lights working. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. Let's get a screen recording going here. I'll show you the settings on this device. So because I'm using it as a 4-channel light system rather than an RGB or an RGBW controller, it shows up as 4 devices, as you can see here. So if I just go into one of them, you'll be able to see the settings on that you have for them. So probably one of the key things is what the device profile is. So this one here. So I've got it set to light because I'm using it as a 4-channel light controller. But RGB would give you RGB, RGBW give you RGBW setting. If you're in either of those, it'll show up as one device on the device list. So we'll leave it on light because that's what we're using it for. The input output settings, high frequency mode, I've got that enabled. The reason for that is it increases the PWM frequency. I noticed that without it enabled I got a little bit of noise from the controller, so enabling that has made the driver quieter. Then you've got your button modes, so you can see here that this is the setting for button 2, which is the one that I went into, but you can change it for all of them and set them individually depending on the button, on which circuit you're controlling. So I've got mine in switch mode and toggle as per how I did the relay for the inverter. Same kind of deal. So probably the 2 most useful in my situation are either toggle or edge mode. The difference being toggle will do what you would expect the light switch to normally do. So if it's say for these outdoor lights, if the button is pressed in, the light would be on. So if I was then to press the button and the button come out, the light will turn off. If it's already out and I turn the light on and then I press the button in, the light will stay on. So basically the light state will sync up with the switch position. So that's how I've got it set. You could do it either way, as just my preference. And then, you know, you can detach it from the switch. You can use it with a motion sensor, same as the other ones, same as the other relay that I did last time. You've got your power on settings, which, you know, do I want it to be on or off when the device powers up, or do I want it to restore to the last mode it was in? Enable input, so you can, if you're using it as a light controller but you're not using all the channels, you can disable the channels you're not using in here. You can invert switch logic. All of mine are working the way that I want them to, so I don't need to invert the switch logic. You've got your calibration for calibrating PWM. That's particularly for if you're doing RGBW to calibrate colors. You've got your button fade rate, so mine's set at 3 times fade rate. It's just how quickly the lights fade in and out. Minimum and maximum brightness. Transition duration, so that's how long to transition between brightness states. The device name, so this one I've got named my main lights because it's these puck lights in the middle of the van. Your firmware, so you can do your firmware update. Geolocation, device reboot, factory reset, device information, all that kind of stuff. You've got your network settings, so again it can know 2 network SSIDs. You've got your Bluetooth, so you can have a Bluetooth gateway turned on the device. Again, I've turned that on. I just think that's useful for if my network's gone down for some reason, I can still actually connect to the device. You've got your scripting capabilities, all those kind of things, same as on the relay like I showed last time. So you've got your dimming control, you've got your consumption. Now I don't know that this actually works. I think when it first powers up it's in RGBW mode, and it does give power use numbers, but it doesn't seem to do that when it's in light mode. So yeah, that's it. Again, quite impressed with the device and its configurability, the ability to use it in different scenarios makes it quite flexible, and I just like the way that it works. It works locally. I can still have physical button control, so my relay controls on the Renogy 1 that I have had doing the lights in here all the time still work. I could still control them from the Renogy 1 app as well if I wanted to, but I do find the Shelly app to be more useful. Well, as usual, thanks for joining me. That's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. As always, be kind. See you later.